Welcome to another episode of the Fortis After Hours podcast. I'm your co-host Nate, joined by my wife Liz.
Hi.
And sounds like Toby needs to join us as well. There you go, partner. You want to do your intro? Okay. Yep. Anyways, thank you for joining us for another episode of the podcast. We have an awesome one today. We're going to be talking about spotting and getting a spotter and why it's important. And we're going to, obviously give you guys one reason that you've probably thought of before, hint, safety. And then something else that you'll have to stick around for if you want to find out what that is. That quite possibly might be as equally as important, in my opinion.
And I feel like this has come up in conversation frequently at the gym lately, which is why we wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it has been like a very frequent topic of conversation.
Yes. So first things first, we'll start with, of course, safety is the number one reason right there. And specifically talking about our squats, bench, and deadlift. Deadlift not so much, mainly squats and bench. But having a good spotter or a few spotters, especially if you're lifting a lot of weight, is definitely just going to be the safest way to make sure you're staying safe while you're training. I think that's one thing that always cracks me up is like people are like, oh, like I'm not planning on failing or I'm not doing this. And it's like, and I mean, I get that. Like, I have that as well.
No one should be going into
you're not really planning on failing. But, if it's a weight that can, basically, if you're lifting a weight that you feel like possibly could hurt you, it's probably a good time to get a spot.
I would even go as far as that, because I don't ever go up to a weight and be like, oh yeah, this could probably hurt me. Like if I started thinking about that, I would never squat the weight I'm squatting, ever. But
my coffee is a slushie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
But I don't really know where I was going with that exactly because that just totally threw me off track there. But no one is going to be like, oh yeah, this weight could probably hurt me because technically you could get hurt with one plate. If you totally mess something up or if you do something wrong, no one is going into a lift thinking that oh yeah, this is probably going to hurt me. But weight can hurt you even if you're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
So I feel like pretty much for most top sets or working sets or things like that, it is just smarter to have a spot because you really never know what could happen while you're lifting.
Yeah.
You could have some freak accident, some freak injury. I still remember there was one day, which this has taken me a long time to work back up to this weight without getting a spot, but it was, I don't even know if you remember this, but I was squatting, it was 319. There's 2 reds and a green. And it was a very regular weight for me, one that I was doing regularly.
Yeah.
And I still don't know what happened, but I almost kind of went night-night in the middle of the lift. And then I started going down and then I was like, oh God, no, I need to stand back up. And you kind of saved me and got me back up and in, but I still don't know exactly what happened because then I did it right afterwards and was totally fine.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those weird freak things that you technically don't know. So
yeah, and that's
it is just smarter for
to get a spot.
Your own body because it's way better to just be like, hey, can you spot me on this? And not need it than it is to be not ask someone to spot you and then accidentally get hurt doing it.
Yeah. When
it could have been prevented if maybe you had a spotter.
And that was kind of my point. You can, like Liz said, you can get hurt from any weight. And I'm not saying I spend time thinking about it, but I do understand that weight is heavy and weight, you just never know. Like Liz said, you never know what it could do and or what you could do and or sometimes you have equipment malfunctions. Sometimes clips come off. Sometimes you hit the rack. Things like this happens, and you just are never sure. So I think that having a spotter or a few spotters, depending on what kind of weight you're lifting, is just a nice way to have just a safeguard against, number one, having those thoughts, because you might be thinking oh man, hopefully. And number two, you are literally going to be safer lifting with a spotter or two than not. So that way you can focus on, we always tell people, you can focus on what you're doing. You're supposed to be lifting the weights, not thinking about other things, whatever. You're here to lift the weights. And, having a spotter, that's one super simple, probably pretty obvious reason why you want one is just so that you're safe.
And I will say, just to talk a little bit more about being safe, if you were to be like benching or squatting, whatever, and you get like a little tweak or a little something, like your knee like starts to give out a little bit, or like your arm or chest or whatever, and like you have a spotter of someone that like can save you and catch you and pull it off of you, like, okay, maybe you have like a little tweak. But if you don't have someone there and you get like just a little tweak and then you fail it without a spotter, you could get like way more seriously injured than like maybe just like a little oops, like that kind of hurt a little bit and then like you're fine the next day versus a
catastrophic.
Yeah,
because I think
so it's just kind of part of it too. Like, I don't know. Like, of course, we don't want to ever think about getting hurt.
No.
But like, if it happens, like, I would rather have a little like, oh, that was kind of uncomfortable, and then I'm saved and we're fine, versus like, oh my God, my knee feels like it's giving out, and now I'm gonna fail this squat and fall with this bar on top of me. Like, way worse situation.
Yeah, and I think that, like having this spot, it's gonna clear your mind whether you realize it or not. Because some of you may be listening to this, you're like, I'm fine. And, I think to clarify, I'm not saying you need a spot with every single set. And I'm not going to give a percentage. I'm not going to give really an RPE. Here's the deal. Like, when you're getting close to a weight that, you're at a weight that where you're like, if something happened, I don't know if I can just like work this off my body, whether it's a squat or a bench or something. And, I think that's when you would get a spot. Bench, especially if you got a combo rack, you could set that up a little bit safer to where you literally have face savers there.
If you set them up correctly.
Yeah, if you set them up correctly, which is something else that we're not talking about spotters today, or face savers today, but low key, always set them up. You just never know. But, with squats specifically, it's definitely safer just to have a spotter or a group of spotters. On the safety note, I want to touch on this because I see this often. How do we spot? For squats and then bench specifically. Deadlift, there are such things as a deadlift back spotter, but that's really more for like at meets, and I kind of agree with that. I don't really.
Unless you're a person who is prone to passing out.
Yeah, prone to passing out.
Or
then maybe,
falling over, then okay, maybe grab a back spotter for your deadlift.
But but if most people are not.
No. But if you are a person that is prone to passing out, like, absolutely get some people to kind of catch you, because them catching you would be better than falling on your face or your head or whatever. But
trying to avoid head injuries, at all costs.
But if you're not prone to passing out,
you're
that would be
fine.
like a rare instance, I guess. But
So some quick notes, and then we're going to move on to the not
real
so
reason,
obvious.
or second
reason.
Real reason.
For back spotting, I like to, number one, I only back spot if I'm comfortable grabbing the person and the weight. That's something I used to not be as strict with, but now I'm like, I just need to know for sure that I can grab the person and the weight, or just the weight by itself, like grab it off their back. Otherwise, I get 3. I like 3 spots for back squats. It's just a little bit safer for everybody involved. That's the other thing. As a spotter, you want to make sure you're safe and you're not you're not putting yourself and the lifter in danger, so you need to be confident in what you're doing. But for back spots, I like to just have my arms underneath either the bar or the person. It honestly kind of depends on their dimensions, to be real, and where things are sitting at. And then I like to have the side spotters, which if you're on the YouTube, you'll be able to see this. If you're not, go to the YouTube.
Maybe we could make a video on this, like an actual video too.
That might
just
be
like
good.
a quick how to spot squats.
Yeah, because side spot, I think you guys can see this thing, so no, maybe you can't.
Basically, you want the bar in the crook of your
elbow, right? So you want the bar here, not like this, because like this, when you have your, I'll just describe what I'm doing. When you have your hands together like a cup, like a goblet squat type thing, the problem is, even if you're very, very quick, there is still a possibility that bar could slip through. So you want to make sure, and if you're catching the bar, something probably happened. So you need to make sure you got that thing, and you want to have it right here in that joint, the crook of the elbow. That's going to be locked in. You don't need to be touching it there.
And then the other hand is
and the other hand's kind of around the plates, but not touching the plates. So that's what I like for back squats. For spotting bench press, I like to be pretty close to the bar. I'm not going to lie. I don't touch the bar, but I like to be pretty close, especially so the grindier the lift, some lifters I know are pretty grindy, and they can take their time on the bench press, and that's totally fine. But with that, when that happens, and I kind of developed this technique over the years, honestly, just from spotting Liz, because earlier on, she'd be able just to grind. I mean, she still can, but grind these reps. But sometimes she'd be grinding and then just
and
done.
then it's done.
And
there is no more anything.
Yeah, I like to stay pretty close. I'm not gonna lie, and that just I just feel like it's just the safest thing. And I have saved knock on wood, a ton of benches over the years, and 0 people have gotten hurt. So it's just going to allow me the quickest reaction. So I like to be very close to the bar on the bench press for spotting. And then, if you don't feel comfortable, then you can get some side spotters for the bench press, and that's a little different. Obviously, getting way down there with the crook of your elbow might be a little not possible. So there I like to interlock the fingers and just follow the bar down and back up. Because that way, again, you have like a stable surface just in case to grab the bar. And then one last thing about safety, it's always good to have kind of a leader. Like if you have a crew of people spotting, one person needs to be in charge. That's the only person that should say take it. And that's part of their job, in my opinion. So you have one person that's going to be calling that if they do need to take it, and that's just going to keep everyone safe. If you have 3 different people thinking about like, take it, not take it, like that's just going to be too much. And of course you want to listen to the lifter, but in my opinion, if you got a crew of people spotting, one person kind of needs to be like the lead spotter, and then you have like other people doing that. So yeah. Reason number 1, safety. Want to stay safe while we're powerlifting, while we're lifting heavy weights in general. And then the second reason is honestly something that I always thought was important, but I didn't really realize how important it was until a few years ago when we had a group of dudes join the gym, younger guys, and they kind of just showed me exactly how important it is to just have a crew of spotters. Because of the energy and like the untangible like feeling of like having people around you, the aura, whatever you want to use. Like it's just the stuff that you can't really put a definition on, but it does exist and it does matter. And I mean, if you're a powerlifter or you've powerlifted before, or you've pushed your body in it doesn't need to be powerlifting, really any way, like how awesome it feels to have some people in your corner. It would be, I'm not a boxer, but I would assume it's similar to that, where you go back over and you got, you're not just there by yourself. So yeah, I mean, that's one of the kind of things that people I think really just overlook is the confidence and really the energy that it can give you in your lift.
Sometimes I call this an emotional support spot.
Emotional support spot, there you go.
Like you just need a little emotional support, knowing that someone is there. Whether it's knowing they're there to save you, whether it's knowing they're there to kind of cheer you on, or to like literally like have your back.
Yeah.
Like sometimes just having that little emotional support spot like really makes a big difference.
Yeah. And I think that, it really can make a big difference in just your mental, because I'll tell you right now, like, and this is where I really like bought into it, because like I said, I always delivered energy to other people. Like, I mean, that's just how I am. So like, I'm always loud and like cheering people on. That's just my personality, but I never really had like the intensity that these young men brought until they came to the gym. Now I've always had the intensity from my training partner Joel, I'll tell you that, but that's just like, when we squat we like to have 3, and it's just Joel, so we usually have a couple others. So I generally have Joel on the back spot. He spotted me for years. I trust him, and he also is, no problem with like, hey, take it, whatever. Like he's loud and he'll talk as well. But yeah, we had these young guys join the gym, and I pretty much will tell you, between them and Joel and then my wife, like Liz doesn't really usually spot me, but like she believes in me with like programming. But I would tell you, like, that whole group of people is pretty much responsible for me bringing my squat back from like, it was about like 500 at the beginning of the year to 585 in 1 year. That would not have happened without like the conviction and belief of like those other dudes. Cause like every time I go into a bar, like I literally was like, I don't know, like I think I could do this. Like the math added up. It's not like I was doing like foolish things, but I was like, they were just like, yeah, we could do it, you could do it.
Well, and part of, I think that along like, why you were able to do that and why it like allows even me to do the squats that I can do is like yes, it's a little bit of the energy, but it's also you just trust them that like they are there if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Which I mean I guess kind of goes back to safety, but it's also kind of just a trust thing too of like these are like my people, these are gonna like they're here, they're supporting me, and like it's like full faith like in them that you're going to squat it, and if you don't squat it, you'll be fine because they will save you, or they'll catch you, or they'll keep you safe, essentially. So it like allows your brain to go to okay, maybe this is just me, I don't know. It allows like your brain to go to like a different space of just like, I'm gonna squat this, because if I didn't have people I trusted, I would never have tried to squat 400 pounds. Like, if I did not have full faith in like the three of you guys spotting me, that never would have happened. Like, doing that at some like random gym with some like random spotters, like,
whatever.
oh yeah, just straps to save me? Absolutely not. It's just, it's different knowing that people are there, like supporting you, yelling at you, and knowing that like they will keep you safe no matter what. So it allows you to really like mentally push to that next level.
Yeah, see, and it's interesting because we have different perspectives of like what's happening. Because for me, I feel like everyone's like helping me lift the weight. I mean, obviously they're not like actually touching the weight, but in my brain I'm like, all right, well, like all these guys, all these guys are like they're ready to go, so I got to be ready to go, and it makes me push to that next level. And yeah, I think it's really awesome, and it was really cool to see, because that was something that I didn't expect when all those kids joined the gym. But I'm gonna tell you, the conviction and the energy that they brought to every session, and like some of them still come here, like that they still bring, is really what like showed me the actual importance of like having a good spotting crew. Of course, safety, but there's another level, you guys. I'm telling you, you got, like Liz said, you have people next to you that are believing in you, that are ready to help you if you need it, and it's just going to allow you to train with freedom, really, and it's going to allow you to like open it up, so to speak. And I'm not saying like, you know, every single attempt is RPE 10. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it's going to allow you. You know, we talk about this a lot. You want your weights to move good. I talked about this recently on the podcast. It's going to allow you to like put the pedal down, because if you don't have a spot, even if you have the safety things, whatever, there's going to be at least a 1% of your brain, or a 0.5%. There will be some part of your brain that is like, okay, like hopefully I don't, you know.
I mean, even just the other day, there was one, like I was doing like heavy pause squats for a couple blocks on like Saturday mornings, and there was one Saturday morning, there was no one here to spot me. So I went into the cage and did with the straps. So like I knew I was safe. So like deep down I knew that I was fine, like safe, whatever. But like that rep moved way worse than it moved like the week before and the week after, with more weight the week after. Like, and when I hit that, I think as a warm up, I don't know, whatever. But like I got it and it was fine. And like it wasn't, I don't want to say it was bad, I guess, but like definitely harder than just doing it with even just you spotting me. I think just having, you know, the mental like clarity of like, oh, yep, we're good, like, and we're fine, and we're safe, and we're encouraged, and someone's yelling in my ear, and whatever, like, it's fine. Otherwise, I was just in there by myself, and I was like, well, I guess we're gonna try this now. Like, I don't know.
No, and I think that's just it. Is like, you know, like getting a spot. I mean, number one is for safety, guys, but number two, it's gonna deliver, like I said, that intangible, untangible energy and just kind of belief and conviction from others, human beings, that you cannot, like I said, you can't really put a label on that. You can't really define it. You're not really gonna be able to like quantify it. It just is going to like help you. And, you know, I think, to kind of wrap it up, because, you know, pretty simple podcast this week, like if you have an opportunity, if you're in a gym like ours and you got people around and you have an opportunity to get a spot, just get a spot. Like it doesn't have to be, it's not that deep, is I guess. I think like some people are like, oh yeah, like I don't need one just yet. It's like, look, like
just get one.
I don't really like, you know, I mean, I would say for a majority of my stuff, I am like pretty like convicted, whatever, like I'm pretty much like I'm gonna get this, or I won't even try it type thing. But I still get spots. And then it allows you sometimes, you know, heaven forbid, like I missed my squat, whatever, a few weeks ago. Like I mean, I had no intention of missing it, but I knew it was a possibility. I mean, there's always a possibility. And I do, which might be just unique to me, whatever, but I do think of like failing almost any attempt, like bigger attempt that I do, so that I understand what I'm doing. Like, and I understand the consequences. And it makes me try harder. But apparently Liz doesn't do that.
We don't think about that.
Anyways.
And also,
so yeah, you guys,
one little fast final thing, you have spotters at a meet. So like I've had people tell me before, they're like, oh, well, I'm just not comfortable with having people spot me. And like they're gonna be competing soon.
I compete in 3 weeks.
So then we have to go over the fact that there will be spotters at the meet. And so it would be better to just get comfortable with having people spot you before meet day, so that way it's one more thing that is more constant versus just like another variable that's changing.
Yeah,
So,
and I mean,
anyway.
it's just all around better, like I said. And shout out to those guys for always bringing the energy, and really showing me a different side of spotting and like encouragement that I never really experienced myself. Like I said, I would imagine, because I've always been yelled at people, so I'd imagine I've probably like helped other people with that. But like for me, that really helped me out a lot, and I think it can help you out as well, you guys. So yeah, if you have the opportunity, get a good crew of spotters behind you. They're going to take care of you, make sure you're safe, make sure you're confident in your lifts, and watch your lifts blow up to the next level. If you guys are not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please consider subscribing. It's absolutely free, and it helps us continue to grow and reach more and more people with our message, redefining strong for everyone. Strong does not look the same for everyone, you guys, but we can all work together to get stronger, whether we're trying to build mental strength, physical strength, or maybe emotional strength. Whatever you're working towards, we can do it together as part of the Fortis community. So thank you guys so much for being a part of the community, if you already are. And if you're not, consider hitting the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Bye.